Hey everybody, this is Susan with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a fun card to show you today using a celebration set. Celebration ends at the end of March, so if you want some of these free sets, get your orders in quick. This one's using Blossoming Basket, and we're also using the Basket Weave textured embossing folder that pairs with that in the celebration. And something you may not know is that this folder will continue when our new catalog picks up in June. So you can get this folder in a few months if you don't get it during celebration, but the set will be gone. So today we're going to tie those two together to make this Here For You card, whether that's a sympathy card or a get well card or just a hey, I'm thinking of you card. So let's go ahead and put it together. I am using Very Vanilla, Crumb Cake, Old Olive, and then I'm using some markers, Calypso Coral, Old Olive, and Sahara Sand to do our coloring. If you have our new blends, they would be lovely to do the coloring on here, but today I decided to choose our standard Stampin' Right markers. So let me go ahead and show you how I crafted this card. Okay, so like I said, I'm using Very Vanilla as our base. I've done some of the work ahead of time because it can get a little tedious to watch me cut things out. So I have our card base, which is Very Vanilla, and I have it opening up and down. I like to do that. About every other card I do that with. So there's our base. We're going to set that aside for a minute. Then I've already run a piece of Crumb Cake through my Big Shot with the folder. So I have that embossed piece to use on the front. I have pre-cut out my mounting ovals. I use the stitched oval with Very Vanilla, and I use the scalloped ovals with Old Olive, and that's going to create the base of our card that we're going to set our basket on. So I know you all know how to use your Big Shot, so I really didn't think I needed to do that. So then I have a quarter sheet of Very Vanilla. Now I've already stamped the basket once and I've trimmed that out. We are going to stamp it again though and trim out just the flowers. And then we're also going to stamp the butterfly and trim that out as well. So let me ink up the basket here. So I'm just looking for the flower, so I don't need the whole image, just need the flower section. And then I'm going to stamp the little butterfly and trim that out. We're going to add that to our card up here at the very end. I'm going to stamp that. Okay, so, and then I have to stamp the words. Now this set also comes with the You Are Loved expression, which I think would be lovely on here too, but I'm just going to stamp the Here For You on the bottom of my oval there. So most of my stamping now is done. So I'm going to close up my ink pad. So what we're going to do is trim out just the flower section of this image. So you got a fussy cut. There's no die for this, but we have lovely scissors that will fussy cut with you. And the reason I'm only cutting out the flowers is I'm going to pop up just the flowers on a dimensional so that we get some 3D lift to our image. So I'm not really too worried about how I come along the bottom here, but when I get over to the leaves, I do want to be careful and go around them. Now you can leave a little bit of an edge on your fussy cut if you want to. These twigs here are kind of sparse, so you kind of have to leave a little bit of the vanilla showing. Now I'm coming right in across the basket there because I'm going to have the full stamped image behind, so that will have the basket handle on there. And then I'm going to show you the first image that I stamped out. When we go to put this together, we're actually going to cut out the handle section so that we can see the crumb cake behind. It's going to give it a nice 3D imagery that we want for these flowers. And then we're also going to add a cute little bow. So almost done here. Be patient. So again, you can get in as close to those leaves as you feel comfortable with your scissors. Okay, so there's that, and then I'm going to need this butterfly. I'm just going to trim that out. I'll cut that out in just a minute. Alright, so now, like I was saying, we are going to color these today with our markers. Now, if you have the blends, you can certainly use those. If you have watercolor pencils, or if you want to use your ink in a blender pen, they will all give you a slightly different look to your image. So whatever you want to play with today, or whatever you want to go for the look, use what you like best. But I do try to change up what I use so you can see how they all get used from time to time. So today I went with the markers. Alright, so as you can see, I've just colored in my leaves, and now I'm going to come right over top of my stamped image, which I stamped in soft suede. I didn't want to stamp in black today. I wanted a lighter, softer color to my imagery. So using Calypso coral for my flower, I can still see the image underneath, not losing any of that detail. And you don't have to be worried about it blurring because it's all water-based ink. So as long as your image is dry, you are good to color. Now, I know I've talked a lot about the blends lately, and how you can overlap the layers and not end up with lines. These are the markers, so if you overlap too heavily, you will end up with some ink lines. But on the other hand, you also end up with some shading. So it really depends on what you're going for in your look. But I do try not to overlap too much when I'm doing my coloring. And then I just noticed I forgot these leaves on top, so I'm going to go back, add some of the green there. Okay, so now my basket. I decided to use Sahara sand for my basket color to give it a little contrast to the crumb cake that I embossed with my Big Shot. So if you like to stick with purely same colors, you can obviously use soft suede if you want to, or whatever brown you choose to use. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to color the basket as well. Now, I'm not coloring the whole image solid. I want that still kind of two-tone basket look. You know, baskets have that airy look to them. So I'm trying just to follow the shape of the basket with some lines coming across it, aiming for the printed image of that. But I've left some vanilla in there, and then if you want to, you could come back and do the bones of the basket, you know, the uprights, a little darker. So I've done that. Okay, so now we are going to trim out this section so that when we have it on our card, we've got that basket weave behind. And I'm going to do a little cheating. So at first you might think, okay, so she comes in and she's carefully going around the arch, which I am, carefully going around the arch. Right? But now look, this is going to go over the top. Right? So I don't have to be so careful when I come across. I can just take off that half circle. Okay? And then I'm just going to put that back together when I make my card. So that's a pretty easy cheat, I think. Alright, let me do a quick color splash on the butterfly here. It's pretty small, so it doesn't take much time. And then I just need to do a quick fussy cut around that. If you didn't want a fussy cut around it, you could use, I think it's a 3/4 inch circle. We'll punch this out onto a circle for you if you have that small paper punch, but it really doesn't take that long to just move your paper snips around and cut that out. It's pretty smooth edges, so that's what I'm doing. Okay. Oh, that lasts a little bit. Alright, so we've got our basket, we got our flowers, we got our butterfly, we've got our stamped words, so let's go ahead and put it together. Alright, so I'm going to be layering with snail. So I've got my stitched oval framelit going onto my scalloped framelit. I'm going to put the basket weave. Now because it's a bumpy textured piece here, I'm going to add a little extra adhesive to make sure it sticks to my card. And I want to center that. Now I could have made the whole card this crumb cake color, but I decided I wanted the inside to be lighter for the message, so I decided to put it on the vanilla. Alright, now we're going to add our oval at the bottom. So there's our sentiment. Okay. Here is my basket. My basket's going to set right about there. Now you could pop the basket up, but because I'm going to pop the flowers up, I don't want it to get too tall. And I am going to add just a little snail to that tab where we cut in, just to help it stay down. So there's my basket. So see how that piece is on there nicely. Then I've got my flowers. Like I said, we're going to do that with dimensionals. Now I've seen some lovely cards where they've actually replaced the flowers in this basket with other flower stamps. The lavender set from Sale-a-bration works really nicely. So think outside of the box with this one, guys. Use your basket, but if you trim all those flowers out and you add other flowers in, it's like making your own bouquet. So that's a nice piece to have in your collection to use. Okay, we're going to add the butterfly with a glue dot. Ooh, if I can get it on there. Press a little harder. So there's our butterfly. And then I've got our 1/8 inch sheer ribbon. This one is in the old olive, so that ties into our leaves and our oval there. I'm using 8 inches, and I'm just going to make a bunny ear bow. So I make 2 loops, and then I crisscross the loops to tie a knot. See? Pretty easy. Then we just trim off the ends. Get our ears about the right length. So let's see, we want to trim off the ends a little bit? Yeah, maybe we'll leave them. They're pretty even this time. So I'm going to add that with another glue dot right on the knot. And I add that to my basket. And we're done. Okay, so that one's pretty quick. So like I said, nice little spring card, thinking of you, using the Blossoming Basket Sale-a-bration Set. That again ends at the end of March with the new basket weave folder. And doing some fussy cut trimming there to make a fun basket of flowers. So I hope you loved our little show and tell today, and I'll be back with some more celebration fun before the end of the month. And I hope you're all enjoying Sale-a-bration and getting ready for the new catalog, which is going to launch in just a couple of months. So just a reminder, those retiring ink colors will be going, and they usually go pretty quickly. So if you need refills of your cardstock or the inks or the re-inkers, or if you want an extra set of the markers, I advise that you get them before the retire list comes out mid-April. I expect to see that. So just a heads up on that. Okay, everybody, so that's my show and tell for today. My little wisdom on what's coming down the line at the end of Sale-a-bration and the beginning of the retirement bonanza that we'll be having. And I hope you enjoyed today's little show. Alright, everybody, have a great day, do some fun stamping, and I'll see you again all soon. Bye-bye.